is my first expensive purchase of the last couple of months, a new tyre. Not only a new tyre, but in there you can see, well, you won't be able to see, but you can just take my word for it, there's some new brake pads as well. In fact, 4 new brake pads, plus this tyre, which was not cheap. Next up new purchase was, yes, it's another new tyre. Very much the same as the next one. Yes, it needs a wash as well. That'll also be my next purchase. But yes, another tyre complete with brake pads plus 2 more in the back. We're on a roll. Okay, so let's have a look at my real pickups. This is going to be for the last couple of months. I didn't do a pickup video last month because I didn't want to overspend really because of the COVID situation. I wanted to sort of make sure I had some money should I needed it. Anyway, this is for the last 2 months. I actually picked up a couple of Funko Pops because I don't really get these anymore, but I do like the Master of the Universe one. So I picked up Slime Pit He-Man, and this was a convention exclusive. I'm not sure if this glows in the dark. It looks like it might. I haven't actually tested it, but it doesn't actually say that it does. But anyway, I didn't actually have He-Man himself, so I picked up the Slime Pit version. I also picked up Triclops, who is one of Skeletor's original minions. I now have the complete set of Skeletor's kind of minions outside of Spycore, which he wasn't in the kind of the original sort of few episodes, so I don't really count that one. But yeah, he was one of my, if not my favourite character out of the original He-Man cartoon, and even in the 2002 remake cartoon. So yeah, these are really the only kind of like line that I get from the Funko Pop range now, to be honest. Okay, let's talk about some actual films. So I picked up a hard copy of The Hunt for Vlad the Impaler, a movie that I reviewed a little while ago on the channel because I'm a big fan of the historical Vlad the Impaler. I've read a very in-depth book about you know, the historical events. It's a fascinating read. So I'm very interested in the actual kind of medieval history. This movie is actually based on the Ottoman Turks side of things, who Vlad was actually at war with during this kind of time. And it's actually from their point of view. So Vlad isn't in it a whole lot, and it's more about this guy and his kind of team of kind of Turkish warriors that go fight against Vlad. Slipcase, just a standard DVD, nothing too exciting. Sound of Thunder, another movie I reviewed recently because I picked this up. So I got the steelbook of this, which is a nice, so I think it's like maybe a Dutch steelbook, I want to say. Not quite sure what country this is from, but yeah, it's an interesting film. It's great, obviously classic story, but the actual effects here are pretty bad, if I'm honest. And this was a massive flop. But I wanted to get, I thought it was a kind of, it's a steelbook you don't see very often, so I thought I would pick it up. A random movie, Metal Shifters. I have no idea about this, so completely blind buy, but it was only like £2, so I thought, why not? I'm assuming it's some type of Asylum-style Transformers rip-off. Who knows? Who knows about this? So has anyone seen it? Let me know. Interesting, in the back here, there's no pictures of the actual metal shifters, whatever they may be. So I'm wondering if there's only about 5 minutes of special effects within the whole movie. I actually got a few versions of the Expendables. Now, this one is a French Blu-ray steelbook. Obviously with the cast there. Somewhat of a familiar image on the back. There seems to be absolutely loads of editions of Expendables steelbooks with different art. So that is the French one. I also picked up the German version of Expendables 2. Now this one is I believe a Mediamarkt exclusive because it has this lenticular magnet on the front, which some versions don't have, and it's just got like a big 2 underneath there. But it's quite a nice little addition with a nice shot of Stallone there. This is a German one, like I said. I also picked up the American version of the original movie, and this one it looks like a steelbook, but technically speaking it isn't. Now, there is some confusion about what actually constitutes a steelbook. I've seen a lot of videos that will tell you that how you spot a steelbook is because it has a plated back rather than a hinge. That is not entirely accurate. Steelbook is actually a brand from a company whose name I'm not going to be able to pronounce, but it's Scorevo or something along the lines of that. And Steelbook is like a brand. It's similar if you buy champagne. It's only champagne if it is from the Champagne region of France. A Steelbook is only a steelbook if it comes from this particular company. Even though this does actually have that plated back, it is not made by that company, and therefore it's not technically a steelbook. So there you go. There's just some type of metal packaging, and I think they call it, I don't know, Viva Metal Pack or something like that. But it's not technically a steelbook, although a lot of people will tell you that the only difference is the plate. That is not true. I also picked up the Expendables 2. This is more or less the same cover as the UK version. So not particularly interesting, if I'm honest. And it's the same situation in regards to it not really being a steelbook. This is the third one, and this is the one that was most interested of me, because this has a significantly different artwork to any other country. And so I was the most keen to get this one, even though this is probably the worst at the movies. Yeah, so once again, it's the same as the American one, the metal packaging, whatever you want to call it. I also picked up Punisher Warzone. This was one that was on my wish list for many years, because it was one of the few Marvel films that until now had never had a Blu-ray Steelbook release. Now, there are still a couple, probably most notably Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer does not have a Solus Blu-ray Steelbook. You can get a DVD Steelbook and you can get a double Steelbook with the first movie, but not on its own. And there are a few other kind of like the smaller films, like Man-Thing, for example, that doesn't have a Blu-ray release, let alone a Blu-ray Steelbook. Anyway, so this is the Punisher Warzone. It's actually my least favourite out of the Punisher films and the TV series. I'm not a huge fan of this movie, and it was actually one of the few Marvel box office bombs. Predator. Now, I hate the artwork of this. It is so lazy. But it was the one of the, I think it's the last Predator Solus Steelbook with the artwork that I didn't have. So I had to get it. Now, it's only €9, so it wasn't huge money. But I sort of like putting it off and putting it off. I thought, well, I've got to pull the trigger, even though I think and there is a range that this artwork has. I think you can get, Die Hard and Alien. It's like the most lazy artwork I've ever seen. Interestingly, this actually goes for a little bit of money on eBay. I don't know why, but you can get it on Amazon for next to nothing. Sticking with Schwarzenegger. Terminator Genesis, it seems to be another movie that has absolutely loads of versions of Steelbook. This is a German version, and it has, and I don't know how well this will show up really, because it's very dark, but it has a lenticular image on the front there. And the actual Steelbook underneath this is the same image. And I think maybe Film Arena also put out this version of the Steelbook, that same image, but this isn't the Film Arena version. This is just the German, probably like Mediabook or something exclusive, who knows. But yeah, so that is the Genesis Steelbook, or one of the many Genesis Steelbooks. Next up, this is the latest one that I got. This actually only arrived today being the 1st of June. And this is the Wonder Woman Titans of Cult collection. Now, these are all obviously all Warner Brothers movies, so, you're only going to get Titans of Cult as long as they're Warner Brothers. And, but I hadn't had a Wonder Woman Steelbook, to be honest with you, until this point. So, after this one came up, and I just like the subtle design on it. And you get this enamel badge that forms part of the shield, I think. which I thought was quite fun. And I like the subtle image of it. And obviously it's like a premium one almost, because you get this kind of casing. Now, I actually bought 2 of these because I thought I would save one and give it away in a future contest. I've only just done a contest. It will be a while till I do another one, but I will eventually give one of these away. And then finally, I did pick up a Mediabook. This one is a movie called The Barbarians, or Die Barbarian if you're from Germany. And this was an 80s sword and sorcery movie. This one's put out by Koch Media. And Koch Media put out media books, but they tend to be the shorter, sort of more stubby, quite thick style media books that a lot of other companies have. There's ones that are slightly larger. Anyway, so this one, when I was a child, always used to interest me because it was one of the few movies, or few fantasy movies, that were 18 certificate in the UK. And I always wondered how much more hardcore it would be, because this one was an 18 certificate, whilst things like, you know, Beastmaster or Deathstalker or whatever were 15, and this was an 18, so it must be that much more gruesome. It really isn't. It's a 3-disc edition. Now, I will say this. I'm not a big fan of this media book, if I'm honest, because it doesn't have many pictures in it. And the pictures that we do have this kind of like this yellow hue, which makes it actually quite difficult to see. Now, I appreciate the language is going to be in German, which is fine. But, man, the photos are just disappointing. Unfortunately. So, but I wanted to, I mean, I seem to be getting like my 80s sword and sorcery movies seem to be on Mediabook rather than kind of Steelbook. So I wanted to kind of like, sort of carry on with that little collection. I've got like a nice little 80s sword and sorcery Mediabook collection happening at the moment, so that's quite fun. Anyway, that concludes actually 2 months worth of pickups. Like I've said, I wanted to kind of dial it down a little bit because of the coronavirus. I wanted to have some money on hand if I needed it, and I'll probably continue to do that going forward for at least a little while. So I'm curious to ask if what are these versions that I've picked up, if anything caught your eye, I think maybe that you would potentially get, and what would be you most interested in. If you haven't already, please do consider hitting that subscribe button and giving us a like. It makes a big difference to the channel. That thumbs up helps me a lot. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.